Welcome to Voice of Niger TV Daily Newspaper Review, where you get the insight of both local, national, and international newspaper front pages.
Hello and welcome to a fresh Monday morning. I am Fatima Abdullahi Mohammed. It's time for Voice of Niger TV newspaper review. I'm here with different newspapers, both international and Nigerian newspapers. What I'll be giving you are just the headlines. If you love any of them, go to the nearest vendor, get a copy of the newspaper and read the full story. Let's begin with Daily Sun, and from this newspaper I'll be giving you the following headlines. Kaduna bishops ask Buhari to resign. It has a rider. Say in decent society, president should bow out. You can get that from page 27. Kano months as 6 Islamic clerics die in auto crash. You can get that from page 4. Boldly written, we can see 2023 APC NWC divided over minister's expected resignation. You can get that from page 8. It has a writer. Battle shift to Wednesday neck meeting. We can see a picture where choirs and orchestra of the Apostolic Church during the Easter retreat concert in Abuja yesterday. Kuka Oyedepo laments state of nation. It has about 3 riders. Sokoto Catholic Bishop accuses president of destroying Nigeria. I knew country was heading for Waterloo. That's coming from Winners Chapel Go. Osibajo prays for restoration of East at Easter. You can get that from page 6. 2023 Oti declares for governorship, promises to uplift Abia. You can get the full story from page 29. And lastly, federal government NAS under fire, over 200 billion naira caught in upstream project. You can get the full story from page 23. That's all I'll be giving you from the Daily Sun newspaper. From the Vanguard newspaper, I'll be giving you the following headlines. Insecurity. Catholic, Anglican bishops attack federal government. You can get that from page 5. Terrorists give Zamfara government 14-day ultimatum to pay 30 million naira for death of his wife and 2 others. You can get that from page 6. We are committed to your well-being. APC assures Nigerians at Easter. You can get the full story from page 8. 40 megawatt Kashimbila hydropower plant lights up Taraba community. You can also get that from page 8. 2023 6 Kano commissioners, others resign appointment. You can get that from page 4. And above the nameplate of Vanguard, bandits demand 2 million naira ransom from each resident abducted. It has a rider. Kill 4 kidnaps cause in Gwada community. You can get the full story from page 6. APC primary, Yahya Bello will beat heavyweight in far contest. That's coming from Hafsat Abiola. And lastly, Yari Marafa defect to PDP in Zamfara. You can get that from page 4 of the Vanguard newspaper, and that's all I'll be giving you from the Vanguard newspaper. Over to ThisDay, and from this newspaper I'll be giving you the following headlines. Sidelined in APC, Yari Marafa quit ruling party, join PDP. You can get the full story from page 5. Atiku, after 7 years of APC's incompetence, Nigeria needs to unify. You can get the full story from page 5. Withdraw pardon for diarrhea Nyame, Sarah tells Buhari. You can get that from page 12. And above the nameplate of ThisDay, federal government seeks to revive Bras LNG project as new investor Greenville LNG shows interest. You can get that from page 10. And lastly, Zenith Access GT Bank UBS foreign subsidiaries contribution to revenue rise to 29.5%. That's all I'll be giving you from ThisDay newspaper. Alright, let's move on to Blueprint, and from this newspaper I have the following headlines. Language barrier solves boundary demarcation. You can get that from page 6. It has about 5 riders. Nigeria differs with Cameroon on understanding of judgment. Adamawa community resists pillar placement. UN stops further work. Nigeria seeks international expert interpretation. Why we are insisting on physical inspection of features, you can says embassy boss at Daji. And lastly, it says 16 of 20 areas cleared, 4 outstanding. You can get that from page 6 of Blueprint newspaper. Niger, terrorists kill 4, abduct scores 15 kilometers away from Mina. 1 killed in Kaduna, police rescue 4 victims. You can get that from page 5. And after years of unresolved differences, ex-Zamfara governor Yari Marafa dump APC. You can get the full story from page 6. Alright, Abuja monarch, 2 others regain freedom after 2.5 million naira ransom. You can get that from page 7. And lastly, crude oil theft. Navy seizes $700,000 product in just 2 weeks. Navy seizes $700,000 product in 2 weeks. You can get that from page 21, and that's all I'll be giving you from Blueprint newspaper. Let's move on to leadership, and from this newspaper I have the following headlines. Ease of doing business. Terminal operators risk sanctions over obstruction. You can get the full story from page 7. Presidency tackles Wike as more criticism trails pardon for Darie in Niamey. You can get that from page 7. 2023 presidency. Aso Rock stays aloof as aspirant battle for APC ticket. It has about 4 riders. Intensify consultation, lobbying for presidential endorsement. Amechi visits Adamu in Nasarawa. I'm not stepping down for anyone, says Umahi. Show Nigerians your legacies, Kuka tell aspirant. You can get that from page 4 of Leadership newspaper. Bandit kill policeman, 3 others abduct scores in Niger. You can get the full story from page 10. 11,536 schools closed over insecurity in Nigeria. That's coming from UNICEF. You can get the full story from page 9. Troops kill 10 commanders, 9 terrorists in Lake Chad. You can get the full story from page 6. And above the nameplate of Leadership, Easter Osibajo Gbajabiamila, orders pray for peace. You can get that from page 6. And lastly, Zulum raises salaries of doctors in liberated local government areas. You can get the full story from page 11, and that's all I'll be giving you from the Leadership newspaper. Let's move over to New Telegraph, and I'll be giving you the following headlines. Nigeria broken under Buhari, Bishop Kuka laments. You can get that from page 2 and 8. He says president has divided the country along ethnic, religious lines, insists only corruption alive in Nigeria, and the 4th federal government reintegration of terrorists over rescue operations, keeping universities open. It has a rider, darkness can't triumph over plans of God, says El Rufai. Insecurity. Terrorists kill police officer, 4 villagers abduct dozens in Niger State, and a demand for 2 million naira ransom from each abductee. You can get that from page 2, 6, and 30. Your criticism not justified. Presidency slams Wike. You can get that from page 3. And above the nameplate of New Telegraph, Forex. CBN sells $14.62 billion in 11 months. It has a rider $734.39 million sold to SMEs operators. And lastly, capacity. Nigerians denied access to $8 billion oil freight. You can get that from page 17, and that's all I'll be giving you from the New Telegraph newspaper. Let's move over to Jazeera Nigeria, and from this newspaper I have the following headlines. State of the Nation. More knocks for federal government. You could get that from page 8. It has about 3 riders. Nigerians can no longer recognize their country, says Kuka. Who is there to speak that has not spoken? Critics are unpatriotic. That's coming from group. Russian invasion. Pope urges peace in Easter of war. Osibajo declined OBJ's offer to become AGF. That's coming from Ogusakin. You can get that from page 31. Atiku Group makes U-turn, backs ADC's Moghalu. You can get that from page 28. And finally, ex-Governor Yari, Senator Marafa dump APC for PDP. You can get that from page 9. 2023. I'll make pronouncement on presidency tomorrow. That's coming from Ngige. Sanwo-Olu orders renew agitation for restructuring. You can get that from page 10. That's all I'll be giving you from Al Jazeera Nigeria newspaper. Let's move over to Voice of Liberty, and I'll be giving you the following headlines. Ahead of party primaries, congresses and conventions, aspirants bank on massive deployment of Naira dollar cash. Zamfara, terror kingpin. Nasanda demands 30 million Naira compensation over his bride's murderer. Give state government deadline. Ex-Governor Yari Marafa dump APC for PDP in Zamfara. Call for Buhari's resignation. Miyeti Allah Sokapu lambasts northern elders. Power sector needs $410 billion to strengthen transmission distribution infrastructure. That's coming from Osibajo. Easter. Buhari solved discord among Nigerians caused ethnic religious crisis. That's coming from Bishop Kuka. And lastly, some Arewa youths are frustrated. That's coming from ACF. That's all I'll be giving you from Voice of Liberty. From the Nation newspaper, I have the following headlines. Security architecture under reformation, says presidency. Aspirants step up governorship ticket chase. At Easter of war, Pope seeks peace. It has a rider. Governors, let's remain united. Tinubu, let us build Nigeria as never before. You can get the full story from page 7 and above the nameplate of the Nation. Equities return rises to 2.53 trillion naira. You can get that from page 17. And lastly, fund managers invest 8 trillion naira pension cash. It has about 4 riders, and you can get that from page 23. That's all I'll be giving you from the Nation newspaper. From Daily Trust, I have the following headlines. APC primaries. Tinubu, Osibajo, and Mechi orders scramble for 7,800 delegates. It has about 3 riders. Odds favor ex-Lagos governor running mate as Siwaju's upstate. VP Minister bank on Buhari's expected endorsement. Party to release timetable mode of primaries on Wednesday. Buhari has destroyed Nigeria. That's coming from Bishop Kuka. You can get that from page 7. Yari Marafa dump APC for PDP. 7 years after, aviation agencies yet to get bought. You can get that from page 3. Troops killed top 10 ISWAP commanders, 100 others in Lake Chad. You can get that from Daily Trust. After Ganduje's directive, 8 county commissioners resign. You can get that from page 14. That's all I'll be giving you from Daily Trust newspaper. Let's move on to Daily Independent newspaper, and I'll be giving you the following headlines. NIN to SIM linkage. Telcos lose 43 billion naira in 2 weeks over bird lines. Serap asks Buhari to withdraw pardon for Darie in Niamey. You can get that from page 7. Former Zamfara Governor Yari Senator Marafa defects to PDP. My desire is peaceful gubernatorial election in Osun, says Oyetola. You can get that from page 6. NDLEA seizes cocaine consignments at Port Harcourt, Abuja, Lagos Airport. You can get that from page 7. 2023 presidency, Southwest leaders to meet Tinubu over Osibajo's ambition. It has about 2 riders. It's absolute falsehood. Tinubu not stepping down. That's coming from 8. Those accusing VP of betrayal should be ignored. That's coming from Fashakin. And above the nameplate of Daily Independent, Buhari's administration has divided the country. That's coming from Kuka. It has a rider that says the nation is broken, only corruption is alive. And lastly, policeman, 3 others killed as bandits invade Niger community. That's all I'll be giving you from the Nigerian newspapers. The international newspaper with me is Times of Malta, and I have the following headlines. Man provides newly inherited flat to Ukraine family. You can get that from page 5. Joyous scenes as religious processions return for Easter. Vital's inquiry given dossier on man behind Muscat payments. That's all I'll be giving you from Times of Malta newspaper. Lastly, from the international newspaper, I have the Business Standard, and I'll be giving you the following headlines. More subsidies coming to tame inflation. Is NEPA heading down Sri Lanka's path? US report heavily underplays the hackers' accountability system for agencies. And lastly, contractors demand adjusting prices of construction projects. That's all I'll be giving you from the international newspapers and the Nigerian newspapers. If any of the headlines fascinate you, go to the nearest vendor and get a copy of the Nigerian dailies or international newspaper and read the full story. We've come to the end of Voice of Niger TV newspaper review. Do join me tomorrow for another interesting edition. Until then, please don't forget to subscribe to our channel and follow us on our social media handle. I am Fatima Abdullahi Muhammad. Bye for now.